I have a dream that one day my four little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
The world was stunned by the killing of Dr. Martin Luther King. In December, at Christmas time, 60 Minutes went to the King home in Atlanta, Georgia, to see how his family was faring. Mrs. King, I wonder if you'd introduce your family to us.
This is Dexter Scott.
And how old are you, Dexter?
7.
Now, this fellow over here.
This is Martin Luther III. We call him Marty.
And how old are you, Marty?
I'm 11 years old.
I imagine, of course, that you bear your name with great pride, your father's name. But are there ever any difficulties because you are Martin Luther King?
Well, most of the times there aren't any difficulties, but sometimes there are.
What kind of thing?
Well, like sometimes people ask me my father's name, and sometimes they tease me about my name and things like that.
Mm-hmm. But mostly
most of the time nobody teases me anything.
Have you decided what you're going to do when you grow up?
I want to be a preacher like my father.
You do?
Yeah.
And this is Bunny.
Yes.
And what are you expecting for Christmas, Bunny?
A bicycle.
Mm-hmm.
A horn.
Mm-hmm.
A doll.
To your left is Yolanda Denise. We call her Yoki.
How old are you, Yoki?
I'm 13.
And where do you go to school and what grade are you in?
I go to Grady High School and I'm in the 9th grade.
Inasmuch as you're 13, you're the oldest one in the family, do you have special responsibilities?
Well, since I'm the oldest and all, I have to watch after Marty and Dexter and Bunny, and they aren't really that much trouble. And when Mother goes out of town, I have to look after them.
I was 12 years old when the marching began, when Dr. King was there and Reverend Young. First day, I'll never forget at home, turning on the TV and the news, and there were children, high school kids, marching in line in twos. And it just hit me. God, I said, I got to go. I got to go, Mama.
I could have been inspired if I had joined up with the SCLC group or the whatever civil rights group. But they couldn't find me because they didn't know that I would allow my children to go out. I had 8th grade, and I had about 5 or 6 young boys who, every time they would have a march, they would go. And I let them go.
Even little ones, I mean, you say, where have you been? You say, I've been to jail. Say, what did you go to jail for? See, I've been going to jail for freedom.
It was one of the most frightening experiences of my life. And it was scary. It was very scary, and they put us into this place, and the place was already with the inside bedrooms were already taken, so we were on the floor for 5 days, right there on the floor, right in the hall, and they purposely put us in with kids who were criminals. Little boys who were real hard, real hard. I was not real hard, no. I was scared.
I don't know of any precedent in history for using children that young in a political campaign like this.
When we got out and I saw my parents, it was incredible, and they were so proud of me.
Kelly Ingram Park on May 3rd was the turning point in the Birmingham movement. And it was a hot day. I mean, it was 90 plus and humid in Birmingham. These firemen had been out there for 4 hours waiting for something to happen. It wasn't. And somebody threw a brick. And the firemen, you know, in their frustration and all, they turned that water cannon on.
And it was absolute helter-skelter. You know how you take blowers and blow leaves and things? Well, this is how folks were. We were rolling across. The ground, we couldn't grab anything. The dogs were barking, biting. The police were clubbing and stuff, but the little kids on the inside, for the most part, were protected.
I don't know if anybody has ever even thought about the pressure from one of those hoses. You could just feel it sting. It was almost like being whipped with a whip or something, and just sort of hit me in the face and went this way and took my hair out.
I have always been afraid of dogs, and to have the police department have dogs on us, I mean, there were people being bitten by dogs as we were trying to run away from the dogs and the fire hoses with the water that were literally washing children down the streets.
It was devastating because it was just so ugly the way they were doing young people. To think a grown man would sit up and put a fire hose on a child, it was awful. I think about the people who went through all that back in those days. We did not give them credit for doing it because they fought my battle. I should have been out there.